Hello and welcome to Let's Review. After last week's little fight to the death, I had been planning on, maybe taking a week off, maybe doing a digging in the crate. Unfortunately, that plan was scuppered when one of my Twitter followers informed me that there was a new Sakura game out, Sakura Fantasy. For anyone who doesn't know, I have played two of these games in the past, Sakura Spirit and Sakura Angels. And I hated both of them. So let's face it, at this point, the only thing that's really keeping me going is masochism. Still, hey, maybe, just maybe, this one will be better. Why do I even bother? Let's just get on with this. Gameplay. At this point, I really should consider just removing this section entirely from some reviews, because, let's face it, these games have never had any kind of gameplay, and this one is no different. Now, I've said in the past that I don't necessarily think that that is a problem, providing that your story and your characters are good enough to hold up the experience on their own. And is that the case here? Would you like to take a wild guess? The story of Sakura Fantasy follows a young woman named Raylene. She's training to become a warrior for this large city known only as the capital, which, as far as they're aware, is the last bastion of civilization, holding out against armies of monsters that sweep in from a forest that has been slowly encroaching on the city for as long as anyone can remember. Throughout the course of the game, Raylene ends up tasked with venturing out of the city into this forest in order to retrieve a fallen star, which may well hold the key to saving the city and everyone within it. And you know what? As stories go, that doesn't suck. Hang on one moment. Did you just compliment a Sakura game? Not finished yet. While I like the setup for this story, the execution is spectacularly flawed. Starting, of course, with this series' major obsession. The fan service? The flaming fan service! Though on the plus side, I think I've now managed to narrow down the developers' fetishes. Oh, please tell me you're not going to do the whole list. Nope. You are. What? Why me? Because after 3 games, they are now pretty much cliches. Limited to a small thing, don't get me wrong, but let's face it, if you can have knowledge of Star Trek-specific cliches, you can have knowledge of this as well. Oh, God, you're right. Alright, give me a moment. Well, let's start with the obvious. Walking in on a woman while she's changing. Yep, happens multiple times. Women covered in viscous substances? Chocolate and slime, yes. Though, thankfully not at the same time. Women who are built up as warriors managing to lose their clothes every time they get into a fight. Repeatedly, yes. Tell me they at least managed to avoid doing the tentacle thing this time. Well, if we're being technical about this, they're vines, but yeah, it's close enough. They're in there. Oh, good lord. Tell me that's all of them. Please. Well, not exactly. People in this world have so-called gifts, unique abilities that make them more than simply human. So one character, for example, has skin as tough as stone. Another one can call down lightning bolts from the sky at will. The main character has a gift known as Farsight, which enables her to see distant places using only her mind. And she, of course, uses it to spy on people. And in such a way that would probably get her a restraining order if she existed in the real world. Oh God, is there a scene of her spying on someone while they're in the shower? Well, technically it's a bathhouse, but yeah, it's close enough. And if that wasn't enough, the fact that the main character is now female gives the developers a whole new area of fan service to focus on. Lesbianism! This coming from the man who prefers to play as female characters and who will always choose the female romance path when one is available. Yes, but as I've said before, sexual content in video games is not a bad thing. Unless it's done in a purely exploitative manner, like it is here. And the worst part is, a lot of it doesn't even feel consensual. I beg your pardon? Yeah. Almost all of the romantic scenes take place inside of the main character's dreams. Now, I don't have a problem with erotic dreams as a storytelling technique. However, it's all but stated that because of her farsight abilities, the women she's having dream sex with are dreaming about it as well. And frankly, I'm kind of iffy about whether you can consider that consensual, given that most people don't really have any kind of control over what they dream. And then, of course, there's the other one, which... No, screw it. I'm going to have to show you the image for this one.
This is our main hero here on the right of the screen, and this woman on the left is apparently the game's villain. Please don't ask me to give you the names of the character because, well, the game never actually gives it to you. Now, from the way that this scene has been drawn, I think it's safe to say that it is meant to be sexually appealing. The big problem I have with that is that in this scene, Raylene is meant to have been abducted, meaning that the character on the left is sexually assaulting her.
Guys, I should not have to explain what is wrong with this. Using sexual assault as a method of titillating the audience is just wrong on so many levels. And no, the genders of the people involved do not matter. Guys, I am a video game reviewer. I am not qualified to talk about sexual assault. I don't want to be talking about it, frankly. Then why are you? Because I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't. I said at the beginning that this game's story doesn't suck. But the thing is, if you took out every scene that only exists for the purposes of fan service, you would reduce this game down to about half an hour in length, 45 minutes tops. And even with those scenes, it still barely runs to 4 hours, and then it just ends. Just ends meaning that it concludes unsatisfactorily, or just ends meaning that it doesn't conclude at all? Doesn't end at all. Officially, this is Chapter 1 of Sakura Fantasy, and as a result, it just kind of ends. You've barely begun your quest, you've achieved a minor victory, and then suddenly over and done with. As a result, the story is just deeply unsatisfying, as it feels like you haven't accomplished anything. And as a result, I don't care if you're going to tell me that Chapter 2 is coming soon. Because frankly, what we have here is being sold as a game in its own right, and what it is not satisfying. And ultimately, what little potential there was here has been completely and utterly wasted. The art continues to be excellent, but for the love of God, can I please talk about the armour designs? Look, body armour is designed to protect important areas of the body, not show off the maximum amount of cleavage possible. Guys, if you want to make a game where the costume choices make sense, just make a game set in a strip club. Hey, because at least then you can throw in some CGs and some pole dancing, because I'm sure you'd enjoy that. The music is bland. It's not really bad, but you're not going to remember it after you finish playing the game. I certainly don't. And the rest of the audio is so incidental that it's not even worth talking about. So frankly, I think we should just move on. So, did I enjoy Sakura Fantasy? No! Should you buy it? Okay, let's be honest about this. Sakura Fantasy is the best Sakura game so far. And it's still awful. Here's the thing. Sakura Spirit had a main plot so bland and uninteresting that it never had a chance. Sakura Angels was better, but still was completely pointless in the grand scheme of things. Sakura Fantasy had the potential to do something interesting, and there are glimpses of it when it does. But it's all mired under so much shameless fan service padding and a game length that's been cut in half to squeeze more money out of consumers that frankly it ends up being the most annoying of the three. Don't buy it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to bust out my old Acme do-it-yourself bleach shower kit. I'll see you later.
So, who's sorry now?